Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Thursday night and another Cup Club with myself, my lovely friend Kirsty, and we have got another special guest on for you tonight, which we're going to, who is a physiotherapist, who we're going to introduce in just a second. But welcome along, everyone. Who had a great week. Hope you're all surviving and staying positive.
Absolutely. It's National Hug Day today as well.
National Hug Day.
Send everybody a virtual hug.
Virtual hug.
Virtual hug going on. But yeah, we've got a really, really good guy coming on. His name's Paul, and he's a physiotherapist from Christchurch. So should we bring him in so he can
bring him in
himself? Hey,
hello, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
I'll get this camera right in a minute. I don't know what's going on.
Welcome along to the Cup Club, Paul. We'd love to see you tonight.
Hi, Paul.
Good evening. How's it going?
Good. We're good. We're excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited. So, Paul, tell us
before we start, what were you all drinking tonight? What's in your cups, Cuppa Clubs?
Oh, I'm a bit boring.
Water.
Hey. Spiced it up a little bit. Oh, how funny.
There's no hot drinks, which is a bit strange, isn't it? Considering
No hot drinks, just water and squash. I love it. So, Paul, tell us what you do. What do you do? Where are you?
Yeah, so I'm a physio, trained back in the day. So sports therapy first, and then went on to do my physio degree or master's, and that was in 2004. But my sports therapy degree finished in 2000. So about 20 years worth of therapy involvement, I suppose. Did a bit in the NHS and then worked for Nuffield Health for most of my career. So I did 13 years for them.
Wow.
And then it was literally about 2 years ago to the day almost that I handed my notice in. And Bridge Health and Wellbeing was sort of developed and grew, and we got our property, our clinic, which is in Christchurch, which we'll talk about in a minute, no doubt. And we got the keys on the 1st of June, 18 months ago, and we started on the 29th of July, 18 months ago. So we're almost 18 months of trading. So yeah, I'm a physio by trade. So any injury really. Sport is my background, and orthopedics, having worked at the Nuffield for so long. So anything to do with orthopedics, I'm more than happy with. But yeah, any day-to-day stuff really. So lots of people who have been working from home, which I think is what we're going to talk a little bit about today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, more and more people are, and we are seeing some issues around that. Jenny, I'm sure you've seen that a bit as well with some of your clients.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. And it's amazing, isn't it? Even myself, I'm used to working with people all the time. And I'm literally I've also got a desk job. And even in the end, I'm like really stretching my back out because we spend so much time sitting, and it's January, it's dark, it's cold, and yeah, I think a lot of people are playing kind of things, and a lot of us are working from home, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've sort of seen two groups probably from the whole COVID side of things and what relating that to working from home. So the first group were the who suddenly thought that Joe Wicks was the best thing since sliced bread and PE with Joe, and obviously it's PE with Jenny now, isn't it? So I should, yeah, good bit of sales there. But not clearly there are other people out there as well. But it's that everybody, a lot of people went from maybe being on furlough and not actually having to work, but not that in the right way. Is careful what I say there. And doing lots more exercise. So we were seeing people with tendon type problems, which is overload type injury. And then we saw the other group who people almost unfortunately became slave to work in a way, and they were working actually more hours, hardly turning off, not getting a break, and therefore their activity level actually probably went down. And we saw people actually getting aches and pains as a result of that. And so the body works in mysterious ways, you could say.
It
It can
does.
be overloaded and give you problems, but it can clearly be underloaded as well. And they're definitely the two groups that we tended to see, and I'm sure we will see a little bit more now that we're in lockdown 3. So
yeah, absolutely.
It comes back to a lot of things, isn't it? I think a lot of things we talk about, both in Kirsty's business, mine, and what you're doing, Paul, it all comes back to one thing, isn't it? Balance. Exercise is good, chocolate's good, wine's good, in a balance, isn't it?
yeah,
just get that
absolutely.
balance
Too
right.
little is bad. It's getting that balance right, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I mean, I think Kirsty put on the post this morning that I would talk a little bit about sort of desk setup and things like that. And I think people have almost tied themselves in knots a little bit too much with the whole desk setup and ergonomics and that type of thing. And there is a balance to be had with the way that you are working from home or working at a desk. And the balance is don't sit in one position for too long. That's the key, really. So it's not about posture gets talked about, and posture I could sit here for probably 2 hours and talk about the bad things and the good things about posture. And certainly what I'm trying to say to my clients now is don't think of it as posture, because there are connotations to that. Thinking about position. Think about the position that you're working in now. Is that sitting slumped for 20 minutes? And people, oh my God, you can't sit slumped. Well, yes, you can, because it's not going to cause you any damage. Posture doesn't. The position you sit in doesn't cause damage. If it's comfortable to do, you can do it for a period of time, but then you need to move. So that's really what we're trying to promote now around the whole. Trying to replace this whole idea of you've got to sit bolt upright and not move and be very static. And that's half the problem. We're not designed to be static. I mean, again, Jenny, when you're working with your clients, I'm sure you do some isometric stuff, but a lot of it is movement based, isn't it? And that's
movement, isn't it? I was talking to a friend the other day actually about a lot of trainers sort of go on about, and it is important to get results from people. It is important, but a lot of the results are just getting people to move.
Yeah, exactly.
To move more. Our bodies are designed to move, and our bodies are the best sort of biofeedback system we've got, and they soon bite back and have a go at you and let you know by giving you pain, trouble when you're treating it. Not as we're designed to be moving around all the time. We're not designed to be sat in desks, driving, TV. So yeah, bodies bite back, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's but and going back to that term balance, or that word balance, I think is that sort of ticks every box, really. So it's about finding stuff that's right for you at the right time. It's the same with being on a diet, isn't it? It's finding the right things that work for you that are going to promote a healthy lifestyle. But at the end of the day, the odd treat, like you say, a glass of wine or some chocolate or something, it's that's not going to make you fat, or it's not going to make you unhealthy. It's when you do that repetitively that becomes the issue. And it's the same with inactivity. If you're repetitively inactive, that's the problem, not being inactive once or twice. So
I love what you said there, Paul, about people think about it's a slumping that causes problems. No, it's not. Slumping for 20 minutes, half an hour is not going to hurt you. You're right. You haven't got to sit up bolt upright, but try and kind of move and vary the way you're sitting as well. I love that point you made.
So yeah, I mean, an easy example, because people will say, well, I've always been told at work that I must sit upright and don't move or anything like that. And I've heard that or poor bad lifting technique that can damage you and all this type of thing. And again, we could talk about lifting for a long time. And it's are you capable of lifting that item? That's the key. And that could be 100 kilo deadlift, or it could be 5 kilos 20 times. It's whether you've got sort of capacity within you to be able to do that activity. So going back to the whole, does it cause damage? So a really easy example I tend to use with my patients is I'll get them to bend their finger back like that, and you hold it there and hold it there and hold it there, and after a while it starts to hurt on the front of your finger if you bend it back far enough.
Yeah.
But then when you let go and the stress comes off, the pain goes away.
Mm.
And that's in effect sort of what's going on when you sit in one position for a long period of time. You stress those structures, and static stress is what the body doesn't really like. You start to get that feel of discomfort, stress, overload, whatever you want to call it. But then when you move around and everything is released and you go into a different position, those soft tissues that are under stretch can settle down, and then the load is put somewhere else. Now that's normal. You haven't caused any damage, and certainly nothing long lasting. It's just for that finite amount of time, you let the stress go away, and then your body responds and settles down as a result. And again, it's the same with training, isn't it? If you do a load of bicep curls, you don't then do a load more an hour later and then do arms again the next day and then the next day.
Mm.
You work really hard and then rest to let your body recover, don't you?
Exactly, and train something else. Exactly right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just being, but it's arming people with this information, isn't it? And it's bringing it to their forefront of their mind to think. So in the week, the week coming up when we're still going to be sat down for too long, people to think about this information and to sort of go in and think, actually, yeah, if something something, you remember something in the week and you think, oh yeah, I heard about that talk. I need to get up and move around, just change my position a bit.
Yeah.
All things are helpful, aren't they? To kind of.
And I think the other thing is that there's also a bit of a connotation where we say to people, you need to take regular breaks. That there's this feeling that you need to leave the office or go for a half-hour walk, and it doesn't need to be as technical as that or as complicated as that. It's literally maybe stand up, march on the spot, roll your shoulders a little bit, maybe do a few head movements side to side, sit back down, reset, and then you're good to go again. And it's as quick and as easy as that. It doesn't need to be technical. It doesn't need to be complicated or anything. So it's keep things simple.
Would you suggest if people are working from home, they're working from a laptop, if they've got a desk set up, maybe they could just move to the sofa for a little while and kind of just dot around just to kind of differently? And would you recommend that?
Where possible, I would avoid using laptops for long periods of time. The problem with a laptop is that you become quite hunched around it almost, because the keyboard, the screen, everything is quite close together. So yeah, for short periods of time, that's going to be absolutely fine. But I wouldn't be doing a full day working on a laptop. So certainly we would always promote. A lot of people have docking stations now, so they dock their laptop and then they have an external keyboard and screen, or two screens. Some people have.
Yeah, perfect.
That's probably going quite above and beyond. The easiest way is just to get an external keyboard, which you can connect into your laptop, and then you just prop the laptop up on some boxes or whatever. So your laptop so the screen is then higher, so it's at your eye level.
Yeah.
And then and the keyboard at a decent height for you. So but again, like you said, it might be you could do half an hour sat on the sofa. Why not? And again, we can go back to that word balance of position, really.
Yeah, it's just thinking it out, isn't it? And thinking, right, okay, what can I do? And obviously the stretches as well. I know with my line of work, I'm constantly hunched over.
Yeah.
When I'm doing skin treatments, I'm permanently like this. So in between clients, I do really try and stretch out as much as I can. But sometimes that's quite difficult when, in busy times. So yeah, I feel that my posture is really, my posture isn't great just through my line of work. So
Sure.
It's just remembering to do certain stretches as much as I can. But for people who are in the same boat doing it, I mean, what would you suggest? Would you just?
I mean, sometimes, like if you've got a busy day with clients back to back, and there just isn't going to be physically time to fit in doing some stretches and things, then you're going to have to do them at the end of the day type thing, and that's perfectly all right. And again, it would be good if you could do some during the day, but life is life, isn't it? And there's a practicality to everything that we do. So I would be looking to just do, especially if I had a long, busy day, get on YouTube or join one of our classes and do a yoga class, or there's loads of different ways that you can stretch. I've done some working from home videos on our YouTube channel, so there's easy stuff to do. It's just a case of allotting that time, I think, isn't it? That's the key.
Yeah,
I think also being mindful of the day. You're looking at the day, a bit of an overview, because if you're spending 8 hours sitting at a desk or you're sitting working, you can't do much about that, because you presumably you have to work, and that's what you need to do, sit there, and there's not an awful you can do about that. But be mindful about how you spend the rest of your day. So there's more hours in the day. If you spend 8 hours in bed and 8 hours working, you spend the rest of the time watching telly, sitting again.
Absolutely, yeah.
That doesn't help. So just be mindful of how you spend the rest of your day. Try and get up a bit earlier, maybe get a bit of exercise in early. Or when you finish work, try and leave the house, or do a bit of activity, or like I say, do a YouTube video, or do a class, or get out for a walk or something. Don't then spend 6 hours in the evening binging on Netflix because it's
there's no point
to go out.
Don't sit for 8 hours at work and then sit for 3 hours or 4 hours in the evening.
Yeah, that isn't going to be helpful to
it's
you.
Just so be rubbish, isn't it?
Look at the whole day as a whole, rather than just the 8 hours you've got to spend sat down working. Try and get up earlier. It's not. I know it's January. It's cold. It's dark. It's often wet. But try and go out and do something.
And I think, especially with that, there's definitely more flexibility with work now, isn't there? With working from home and all that type of thing. So I think even trying to do a 4-hour shift in the morning and just make sure you take an hour for lunch, and then
great idea. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's easy going. So once you're in a work at home and you've got a lot of work to do, could be very tempting, and you're on your own. Maybe it can be tempting just to sort of sit there and carry on working, and just eat at your desk or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
At work as well, and it'd be tempting to do that rather than think, oh yeah, I'll take an hour out so I can go and do a walk or walk the dog, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it refreshes everything as well, doesn't it? It refreshes everything. Just having that break, having a walk, getting some fresh air, coming back, you're reset, and you're raring to go. I just think, brilliant idea. So it's, you're based in Christchurch, Paul.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit more about Bridge.
Okay, so we are on Bridge Street, so opposite the civic offices. We always tell people we're in the Christchurch Power Tools buildings, because everybody knows Christchurch Power Tools if you've come from Christchurch. So
I know that. Where you are now, you said that, Paul. I've lived all my life.
So got the big. Explain to everyone what you had outside at Christmas time. The big banner.
So we had a friend of mine has a signage company. He's done all our signage, and he got a banner done at last lockdown with a thank you NHS banner, and he put it up on his factory. And I said, oh, that'd be really good to have at the clinic. So we got one of them done. And then he said, well, these are good because you just screw them into the wall. They're temporary signs, so they're nice and easy to put up and down. They're just banners. So you can have maybe a few going throughout the year. And we got towards Christmas, and I said to Louise, well, it would be quite good if we put a Christmas banner up. And is this what you're talking about, Kirsty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
And last year we had a digital Christmas card done of me and Louise, sort of a caricature type thing of the two of us stood outside the clinic. So I said, well, we could get that done as the banner and put that up on the wall. So we're umming and ahhing what to do, and I said, well, we can't get anything else, so we'll just get it done. So we had it done, and there's a great big mural basically of us two stood outside the clinic, and Louise was she's been so pleased with this caricature because it makes her shall I say it makes her look wholesome, shall we say? And she was convinced that somebody was going to go along with a Sharpie and do some graffiti on it. But, I think lockdown probably meant that there's been less footfall and less people out, and the pubs have been closed, haven't they? So it didn't get touched, so it's ready to go for next year now. So
it is brilliant. It is really, really good. It does make me smile.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's really Yeah, I love it. And it does look so much like you guys. So it really does. It's brilliant. But she did mention someone's going to go along with the Sharpie. I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
no, I'm pleased it didn't. I'm pleased no one did.
So yeah, so we've got our clinic on Bridge Street. So we've got 3 treatment rooms. I do the physio. We've got 2 massage therapists. Unfortunately, they can't work at the moment. Got a nice rehab gym. So pretty much all of my clients get put through some rehab at some point. We offer rehab classes, which I oversee, and then we've got our studio as well, which Louise. So I keep talking about Louise. So Louise is my wife, client of Kirsty's, and she is our Pilates instructor and sort of runs the studio side of the business. So she does the Pilates. We've got yoga. We do qigong. We do a monthly mindfulness class. And sadly, all of those have had to go online. So we've gone from, I think we've got up to about 18 or 19 classes just before Christmas at the studio. And that's now gone down to just under 9 or 10, I think, because we're just having to condense everything with going online. So, yes, I'll admit I've had a bit of a down day. I just felt a bit frustrated by everything today, which is it's been nice to come on here and have a bit of a natter.
We do, don't we? We do have these days where you sort of get a bit kind of overwhelmed with everything and everything. You just think, oh God.
Yeah. It just comes in waves, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think, it's just very frustrating and disappointing, I suppose, because we've shown that we can grow and develop even in these challenging times. And if we hadn't have had the pandemic, who knows where we'd be at 18 months of trading. But it's I won't go on too much about that.
I've been sorry, we're going off topic now. I've been helping Vic this week with the COVID vaccines, and I'm feeling quite positive this week because the amount of people I've seen come in to have their vaccinations, it's just been absolutely amazing. It's been incredible, the amount of number, obviously they're going with the elderly first, and the amount of foot flow that's been coming through. And they're expected to do 1,300 patients per day from Monday. So that ends up being about a jab every 30 seconds. So, kind of seeing it firsthand, it's a really good thing. And I just think, there's so much negative news out there, and I've kind of just stopped listening to the news altogether. Just every day that I'm working, I'm volunteering there. So every time I'm there, I'm seeing it for myself, and I'm just like this. Yeah, we're on a good road. I think we're gonna be out of this soon, definitely.
Yeah, I really do hope.
Sorry.
No, it's very topical, isn't it? It's very relevant. It's affecting us all in very different ways, but all in the same way, I suppose, isn't it? That's the strange thing about it.
Yeah, that's it. And it's okay to kind of go through that wave of having down days as well, and that's okay and that's expected, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely. Sorry, going back to your clinic, Paul, I just wanted to say, for those who haven't been to the clinic before, I have to say it's so lovely and it's so welcoming, and as you go in, obviously you're to the right, you've got reception, and then Louise has her classes on the left hand side, and go down, and it's just so airy. It's really lovely. It's really, really nice. I think you've done a really good job of setting everything out, because when you bought it you completely gutted it, is that right? Did you?
Yeah, so it was quite a big open office. So the back of it where the clinic rooms are, they were as so we haven't had to touch them, which has been perfect, really. And then it was a big open office at the front and to the side where the studio is. So we've had to basically create the gym space and the studio space. And we're not going to lie, it's a big undertaking. It's costing us a lot of money. Which is probably another reason why I was frustrated, because I was sort of looking at the books as well today. But that's life. But the reason we've done that is we wanted to do something a bit different. We wanted to be able. We didn't want to just be a studio. We didn't just want to be a treatment room. We want to be we want to be known as a family-run business. That's our underpinning sort of moral, I suppose, that we want to be known as Louise and Paul, and with great clinicians and instructors working with us. But what we also want to be able to offer is something a bit different. So you don't just come for physio, you don't just come for a massage, you don't just come for a class. We want you to invest almost in yourself. And that's one of our big things. So we just launched a membership, unfortunately, in December, and now we've gone into lockdown. So that's been a bit limiting. And the whole tagline on that was invest in your health. So the idea being that you come and use us, and we're not a gym and we're not a standalone treatment room. We're sort of a hybrid, almost somewhere in between, where you can come and use us, but to help yourself. That's the idea.
Yeah. And I think you've done that so far. I think from what I've seen, you've done that. So I think you've done a really good job.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very
really does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if someone's got an ache, pain, something that's kind of niggling them, something that they feel that's not right, so how would they get in touch with you?
So they can go. There's a contact us page on the website, so you can do that through there. There are contact details all on there. You can message us through Facebook and things like that. You can phone the clinic, and if you want to book, you can book online on the website as well. So that takes you straight.
What's your website, Paul?
Say again, sorry.
What's your website?
www.bridgehw.com.
There we go. Jenny's putting it in the comments, so people who are watching can click on that link and go straight to you. Amazing. There you go. There you go.
We're everywhere, that website, everywhere now.
Good.
There you go. It's there. It's there. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. So I think the main thing to say is that what we want to just make people aware is that if you do get in contact, there's clearly no obligation to book or anything like that. We want to be here to support people. So we'll chat on the phone, we'll reply to emails, we'll direct you to our YouTube channel because there's quite a lot of information on there now. And that's important. We're a business. We're here to make money. That's the bottom line, I suppose. But the bigger picture than that is we want to help people. So that's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that, Paul. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been really lovely chatting to you about, as one of my ladies who was watching, the wonderful art of balancing life. That's what we all need. Perfect words, Adriana, one of my lovely ladies watching there tonight.
Absolutely.
But there's really good talk to you and very kind of very current, great advice, sensible advice.
Yeah,
just manageable advice. We can all do these things as well. So it's really helpful, and it's really lovely to hear about your studio as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
We've so next week, what do we have coming up, Jenny?
We have another lady called Louise coming on next week who has got a local business based in Hawdor, and she does juicing. And she's found her business since lockdown. She's a great success story, actually. She's another fitness friend of mine, but her business has exploded, I think, over the last kind of year or so. People want to invest more into their health, and so she does all her own juicing, and she delivers. And we're going to talk about juicing, health, nutrition. Yeah, she's big up on all of that. So that's another really interesting chat next week.
Perfect. Sounds good. Amazing. Thanks, guys. Thanks to all who's
there you go. Bridge.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
There's the website to contact Paul. And thank you again, Paul.
No problem.
We will see you soon. Thank you.
See you soon, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Guys, have a good evening.